The Forceblade Mindweaver is a very dominant two-handed based melee class for the Mindweaver that's also all about telekinetic energy and weapons and damage. We're going to go level by level, comment tutorial on all the items you could need. So of course we start with the Mindweaver. Now for this we gain intelligence saving throw proficiency and dexterity saving throw proficiencies. And we get the Forceblade. Now Forceblades are formidable astral warriors who combine their exceptional melee combat skills with potent psionic energy. Clad in heavy armour, they yield large greatswords imbued with psychic power, expelling such immense force that the psychic damage fully manifests as force damage. This unique ability allows them to create devastating attacks and shockwaves, obliterating their enemies' defences with sheer kinetic power. So from this we unlock simple weapon proficiency, martial weapon proficiency, light armour, medium armour and heavy armour proficiencies, as well as Force Blast. This is a 1-6 force damage. It will discharge a concentrated blast of psionic energy. Upon impact, all targets in a 3-meter radius will take the 1-6 damage. And if we use this combined with our Mind Surge, it will also inflict slow. Now for your ability points, if you're doing this from the start of the game, you're going to want to have 16 strength, probably dump your charisma, something like that. If you're playing this mod from sort of mid-game or late game, then you're going to want to use the item guide I'm using, or Strength Flask, and have 8 strength, 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 16 intelligence, 10 wisdom, 10 charisma. For your proficiencies, take whatever fits your roleplay. Mindweaver level 2 unlocks said Mind Surge. So basically turn this on will enhance some of your abilities and also cause those abilities to do extra damage. The trade-off for this though is that you will get mental exhaustion, so it's a sort of, you gain a lot from it, but then you also have to have quite a long recovery period from it. We also gain telekinetic grasp. So utilise your psionic powers to exert a telekinetic grasp on a single enemy, pulling them towards you with immense force. This sudden powerful yank ensures that no one can escape the reach of the Forceblade. So this really cool as a bonus action, you can pull an enemy towards you, and then you can still follow up with your main action attack. Now we gain 2 spells at this point, so the first one we're going to take is Astral Blade Burst. So you can abuse your weapon with psionic energy and unleash a powerful strike, sending a burst of astral force through all in a line. Each target takes 19 to 32 damage plus your strength modifier, creating a path of devastation. And again, if you use this with Mind Surge, you'll inflict chest trauma. And that has disadvantage on Constitution saving throws. The other ability we're going to take is Forceblade Advance. We can propel ourselves forward, creating a tunnel force. This will deal 13 to 26 force damage to all targets in your path and plus B inflict weak grip. This is awesome and will not provoke opportunity attacks. Now for a fighting style here, we're going to take Great Weapon Fighting. So if we roll a 1 or 2 on a damage die for an attack, with the two-handed weapon we get to roll that dice again. Mindweaver level 3 unlocks Ethereal Mastery. So essentially what this means is after we use a spell using Mind Surge, so we toggle that, we then do our spell, as a bonus action we can levitate and we can fly away. This will not provoke opportunity attacks and it's a nice way of just getting out of danger. Now in my opinion, for the Forceblade, this isn't really that useful for getting out of danger. What it can be useful for is if you finish an enemy off, you can use this to fly towards another one. Really nice way of like cutting the battlefield in half, for example. Now we're gaining a cerebral enhancement at this point, and for the first one I would take Intellectual Agility. So this will basically improve your initiative based on your intelligence modifier. So the higher our intelligence modifier, the more that is added to our initiative rolls. Mindweaver level 4 unlocks our first feat. We also gain Force Eruption. So when you take damage, you can absorb and redirect the incoming energy, halving the damage and releasing it in an eruption, dealing 2 to 8 force damage to all within 4 meters. They will have to make a dex saving throw against being pushed back 4 meters on a failure, or taking half the damage without being pushed on a success. We also have Spell Surge, to expend a Mind Surge to channel psionic energy, restoring a spell slot for yourself or an ally. This can be very, very useful as well. For a spell here, we're going to take Mind Breaker. Strike your target with a powerful blow that deals 13 to 26 slashing damage, plus 1 to 6 force damage. The target with Mind Breaker Wound, that causes them to take extra force damage each turn unless they succeed a intelligence saving throw. So essentially if you land this, you can guarantee extra damage every round unless they make their intelligence save. For a feat here, we are going to take Great Weapon Master. By this point at level 4 you should be respecing and using strength potions, so you can really focus on taking Great Weapon Master. This will allow us that when we land a critical hit or kill a target with a melee weapon attack, we can make another one as a bonus action on that turn. We can also take a -5 attack roll penalty for a solid 10 extra damage. Mindweaver level 5 unlocks extra attack. This is really useful because that means we can deal even more damage per round, as long as we choose the attack with our main action. For a spider hit, we are going to take Mind Flare Strike. Strike a target with your Forceblade, dealing 23 to 36 slashing damage, channeling sonic energy that affects the minds of nearby enemies within range. This disruption will allow you to follow up attack with Sonic Aftershock on one of the affected enemies using Mind Surge. Incredible ability you can use. Level 6 unlocks Forcebound Retribution, so teleport instantly to an enemy attacking you or an ally, delivering a punishing blow. You deal force damage to the enemy, and this is really awesome as well for getting around the battlefield. Now we gain one more spell here. For this one we are going to take Force Burst. Expel a burst of sonic energy, creating a powerful force explosion around you. This will deal 3 to 18 force damage to all within a 6 meter radius, knocking them back and leaving them reeling from the impact. And if we use this with a Mind Surge, we will inflict prone. Now for your cerebral enhancement here, we're going to take Kinetic Deflection. Create a kinetic barrier, deflecting an incoming melee weapon attack. Reduce the damage taken by an equal amount to your level plus your proficiency bonus. Showcasing the Forceblade's mastery of both physical prowess and mental fortitude. Now this does require a great sword or longsword, and we're using a great sword, and it's just a nice way to ensure that you fully are able to tank the battlefield a bit better. Mindweaver level 7 doesn't really give you much here apart from spell slots. Mindweaver level 8 has unlocked a new feat. Before that we gain one more spell. For this one we are going to take Ethereal Barrier. This will basically just increase your AC by 2 for 3 turns. And then we get a fighting style. For this one we're going to take Defense to further boost our AC by 1 while wearing armor. For your feat here, there are 2 options. I'm going to be taking Savage Attacker, but what you can do is take your intelligence to 18. But I do think for the amount of damage dice we're going to be rolling, Savage Attacker is a good option. Mindweaver level 9 unlocks a new passive. And for this we're going to use Astral Dominance. Unleash the supreme power of your mental prowess, infusing your spells with celestial energy. All Mindweaver spells that deal psychic damage now deal additional damage equal to your intelligence modifier. Nice way of just pumping up the damage output from our spells. Mindweaver level 10 unlocks Force Dominion. Expel a crimson aura of force energy, damaging all enemies within range. Those who on the aura have their movement speed reduced by half and their armor class reduced by 2. On a failed save, they'll take 1 to 12 force damage and are pulled as the overwhelming force crushes their defenses. This is concentration based and lasts for 10 turns, but as you can see it's a really awesome way to keep enemies really sucked in close to you. We gain one more spell at this point, so we're going to take Pulse Wave. Unleash a wave of overwhelming force in a 9 meter cone, choosing to either push or pull all targets and objects within its path. Each target in the area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 6 to 36 force damage on a fail or half as much on a success. Creatures that fail are either pulled or pushed 5 meters. So as you can see, big damage, huge distance covered, it's incredible. Mindweaver level 11 unlocks a new spell, and for this one we are going to be taking Blade Force Beam. So this unleashes a massive beam of kinetic energy from your sword, striking all distant target with overwhelming force, dealing 6 to 36 force damage again. This beam will concentrate and tear through everything in its path, and it's incredible. Mindweaver level 12 unlocks a new feat, and for this one I would take your intelligence either to 18, as I'm doing now, or to 20 if you didn't take Savage Attacker. Okay, let's go over our equipment, and we start with the Helldusk Helmet. We can see in magical and ordinary darkness up to 12 meters and cannot be blinded, as well as a +2 bonus to our saving throws against spells, and we cannot be critically hit. The Flesh Melter Cloak, say if we take melee damage, the attacker will take 1 to 4 acid damage. The Blackguard Greaves to give us long stride and athletics +1. The Helldusk Armour, so this will give us Infernal Retribution, so if we succeed a saving throw, then the caster will take burning for 3 turns. We also gain resistance to fire damage, cannot be burned, and we take 3 less damage from all sources, as well as the ability to fly. You can see we have an AC of 23 in total. Now, if you don't want to use strength potions, you can use the Gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength, which is what I'll be using. This will set your strength to 23. Obviously, you don't get these until endgame Act 3, so make sure you're using those strength potions until then to maximise this build. Once you've got these, you don't really need to. We're going to take the Caustic Band to add 2 acid damage to our weapon attacks. The Killer Sweetheart, so when we kill a creature, we can guarantee our next attack roll will be a critical hit. This is once per long rest. The Moondrop Pendant, so if we have 50% hit points or less, we won't provoke opportunity attacks. And we're going to pair all this very nicely with my favourite two-handed sword in the game, the Sword of Chaos. This is awesome for necrotic damage, and on a hit, we regain 1 to 6 hit points. So that is the build. Let's go find some combat and check it out. Okay, we start the combat and you can see we are joint top of the turn order, which means we can do some pretty cool things. So if we come here slightly, we're going to do our first ability and hit everyone in a straight line, which is Astral Blade Burst. Now again, if we use our Mind Surge, we will actually be able to cause chest trauma, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to Mind Surge, we'll get the Blade Burst, and let's do it at the highest level possible, which is level 3. Now, you will see we did do some friendly fire, unfortunately, and we did miss the enemy in the back. But what's really awesome about that is, as you can see, we can still follow up with some attacks. So you can do a lot of cool things here. So, for example, let's do Mind Flare Strike. We'll do this at level 2, and we'll target the enemy here. And there you go, you'll see we've got that Sonic Echo all around, and if we come back to the Sonic Echo, check that out here, you will see that enemies affected with Mind Flare Strike are left with Sonic Echo. The Echo leaves them vulnerable to follow-up attacks, allowing to execute Sonic Aftershocks, which is a lot of fun. And we still have things we can do, such as our Sonic Aftershock here, which we just did. And there you go, and because we were able to knock enemies prone, you can see we really can nullify the battlefield. The other cool thing is, because we have Great Weapon Master and we killed an enemy, we can come in here. We're not going to use Executioner, and you can see we can pump out some really good damage still. So there's lots of things you can do with this on round 1. Now see the prone enemy has been on the ground, and because he stood up, it's minimal damage. And you can see the acid damage taken in return. Now let's do some things here. Let's do our telekinetic grasp and we'll pull this enemy towards us. Just like that. Nice little way of getting enemies nice and close, leaving them in a good spot where we could do something such as coming here. And we could do a Forceblade advance. We'll do this at level 2. And as you can see, we took both enemies out. And once again, because that did a bunch of damage, you can see weak grip on him, weak grip on him. So again, even though we've done damage, pulled enemies around, we've still left them with certain debuffs. And a big miss from the enemy there, and another big miss. Okay, it's back to our turn. So if we come into here, we are going to do our, where is it? Forceblade Beam. We'll do this at level 3. And as you can see, we can target all 3 enemies. So, and just like that, huge damage on that one. They made their save because unfortunately they were a little bit tricky. But what it does mean is we once again still have our bonus action. We could do another telekinetic grasp, for example. And continuously pull enemies towards us. And a big miss once again, missing the sneak attack. But of course you can just use both your attacks to do regular attacks. And with Executioner, because we killed an enemy, we can make sure it's a guaranteed crit, just like that. So you don't just have to worry about using your spell slots for attacks, but you can do still. And because we scored a crit, we can benefit from our Great Weapon Master and land that as well. That also still means we have the chance to do a Spell Surge if we wanted to restore spell slots, but not really something we need to worry about. And once again, we can just make sure get a nice big hit. We can, once again, pull an enemy towards us from here. Keep them nice and close. This is also really good if you have more than one melee combatant. And with our extra attack, we can make sure they're within range. And if we wanted to, we can start closing down distance here and allow our teammates to pick off the 4 health HP there. So we'll make our way here, ready for next round. And there we go. Once again, another big miss thanks to our great AC. And the enemy's unable to move us because we've got such a high strength score. Now imagine you've got a few enemies on the edge like this. You can see the spellcaster here. If we were to do our Force Burst, for example, let's do that at level 2, you can knock enemies off of ledges. Now unfortunately they didn't go flying, but they did die because low HP. But essentially you have so many capabilities. You can, throw enemies around, pull enemies towards you. You can debuff them in so many different ways, land insane force damage. So many really awesome options. We're just going to come back in here, try and land Daze with a Palm Strike, like that. You can see we landed a nice big crit. And we can land our Force Dominion. So if we do this, this will slow enemies down, just like that. It'll also reduce their AC. So this is awesome because then you can use things like your telekinetic grasp if they're far away, to pull them in, for example. You'll see they take force damage while within this aura. and thanks to the slow movement, archers and stuff really struggle to get towards you. Meaning you can come in here and follow up with things such as an astral blade burst, for example. If I sort of come here, astral blade burst, and there you go. Now unfortunately, because they're rogue, they're a little tricky, but once again, we can follow up with some big weapon attacks. And again, if enemies are running away, telekinetic grasp and pull them in. You see more force damage thanks for being stuck here, and more big misses. So you can really use this to your advantage. And obviously the best way to do this is to just use your extra attack, so using your main action, and then following up to land enemies ASAP. So that is the Forceblade subclass for the Mindweaver mod. It is an incredible two-handed melee combatant that can deal insane damage, cause huge debuffs, and as you see, just cripple enemies' movement in a very wide area. So if you've enjoyed, please drop us a like, helps me tremendously, and let us know in the comments what you like about the build or what you'd change. Any new spells, any new items, all that fun stuff. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel for more. I've got more guides to Baldur's Gate, to Dragon Age, to Path of Exile, to Oblivion, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Expedition 33, all the amazing RPGs you could ever need. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.